Hello, hello, and welcome back to SCM2023. I am here with the wonderful Mitchriz and a commentator who you may have just seen in the previous race we had, Blanks. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Doing good.
I'm doing well. Just finished up my Demon Souls race and I'm ready to go for commentary. It's gonna be a good time.
There's
yeah.
also something special about this run, Mitch, right? What's
There
special about this
there
run?
is basically for the incentive for this run to do it without summons, that would actually put it into a slightly different category, any percent no summons, which on the leaderboard there are currently no runs. So we would definitely have a world record if we can hit that no summons incentive by the time we get to Monas. So we have, you know, around maybe 40-ish minutes till we get there, and if we hit that donation incentive, we will have a live world record right here on stream. So I'm hoping we hit it. It makes the fight a lot harder, but hey, for a world record, it's worth it.
Yeah, seeing a world record live chat, you guys could witness history. You guys will see this on one of those summoning salt videos in the future. And then Mitchriz got the world record live on Souls Charity Marathon. All right, guys. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. This is Lies of P, any percent. We have been working on this run for about 2 months now since the launch of the game, and it is
been that short?
Very different.
Yeah, it feels like it's been so long.
September 16th was the beginning of early access.
Wow, it really was. Because this run has gone through so many evolutions, and honestly, I cannot wait to show it off. So I think we should just jump into it, and we can keep talking about all the things that have evolved in the run as we go through it. So I think we're all ready to get it started. We can do a countdown. And so I'll start it up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if you guys are, coming off your casual playthroughs, or if you've seen, the early days of the speedruns, we we have gone from a almost 3-hour-ish any percent to just under 50 minutes. So it has been a very, very developed speedrun in such a short amount of time. It almost honestly reminded me of those those moist critical speedrun games. It really did develop that quickly.
We had some amazing people finding stuff. Giant Cookie Jar and Yojo just destroyed this game so quickly.
Yeah. It really just felt like you would you would get a run that you're happy with, and you'd wake up the next day and there'd be 3 new skips to do. That's how it was for the first couple weeks of launch, which it's obviously better that way, because that way the route doesn't get set in stone. It has more or less cooled down a little bit because we have pretty much a skip for almost every area. But yeah, here we are here in Krot Central Station. We're going to choose the deck starting class because the optimal weapon for this run is the rapier. And very cool mechanic about this game is you can actually detach blades and handles. The blade will determine the weapon attack speed and the damage, while the handle will be in charge of the scaling, the move set, and the damage type. So the rapier here is a thrust type weapon, but we're actually not going to use the rapier blade. We're going to instead use a different blade of the one of the other starter weapons, the Great Sword of Fate. That weapon actually has stab damage up, which is very, very convenient because it's a starter weapon. But yeah, here we are approaching the first mini boss.
Missed an attack, but I should be able to make this up. Okay, good. Excellent.
So, using the left arm here, similar to something that you could see in Sekiro with the prosthetic. You could definitely tell this game is a mixture of, you know, Souls and Sekiro DNA. Very, very similar in terms of the way it, you know, like the combat flow with the deflections and, you know, just it just you feel very at home. If you're a Souls player, I will say you will feel very at home with this game.
Oh, for sure.
Especially if you
you're
enjoyed
Souls,
Sekiro.
If you enjoyed Sekiro, if you enjoyed Bloodborne, it's got a lot of Bloodborne in it. And so it's pretty much no matter which game was your favorite, it's got something for you here. Honestly, one of my favorite games. It goes right up there with the Souls series for me personally. And I just love it. And yeah. So as we get through here, there's a couple of things I'm going to pick up along the way. Mostly it's just for saving Ergo. None of this I have to pick up necessarily. But all of it is worth some money. That's going to be very important for us because we're going to be very, very poor in this run because we skip almost every boss, so we don't get those huge infusions of Ergo. Souls games, they'd be called Souls. So we're going to be a very low level unless we pick up a lot of stuff.
Right. Actually, something that's really funny about this game, and it was something that we knew from the start pretty much, there is a merchant later in the game that gives us access to infinite throwing items. And at first, everyone thought that, you know, this game was super hard and punishing, and all the boss fights were gonna be you would have to, like, you know, lab them for hours and perfect all their movesets. However, there are very, very strong throwing items in this game, as you'll see later on. But approaching
coming
the
up
first
into
boss
the
fight
first
here.
boss fight, yeah. So I've got a particular script that I'm gonna try to pull off using the using whatever this is called, and trying to get a perfect stagger. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I buff. 9, 10, 11. Perfect, that should do it. So I should be able to kill him before he phase transitions here.
Yeah, so something else to note about this game is...
Never mind. I forgot I used an extra arm on the police bot earlier, so not quite a one cycle.
Should just be a few more swings here.
That's okay.
Yeah. So another thing to note about this run is damage is actually rolled, like it's random. So you can do plus or minus 10% damage, which is actually, it comes into play here. That Parade Master script that we saw, that actually has a chance of just straight up not working. At 11 swings, you could just trigger him to do second phase by doing too much damage. And also, he was supposed to die on the third arm there. He didn't have enough Legion for the third arm, but that's supposed to kill. And it, you know, has a chance of not killing because of the random damage in this game.
Yeah, so you can either try to do more damage, which has a chance of doing too much damage and pushing him. Yeah, or you can do a little less damage to make sure he doesn't transition, but then you might not kill him at the end. So you're taking a risk either way.
Yeah. For that reason, true scripts are not really a thing in this game. There's like a lot of different boss fights that have, you know, plus or minus 10% on those bigger swings ends up adding up to a decent bit of damage you'd be losing out on. So true skips are definitely not as relevant in this game, or relevant as you would see in you know, a game like Elden Ring, where, you know, almost every boss fight could be scripted. Anyway, here we are grabbing the puppet string, the Legion arm upgrade. However, we are not going to be using this at all. It is pretty much worthless to us. We're going to switch back to our left armor steel as soon as possible. Yeah.
We're forced to grab that, otherwise it won't let us out of the hotel. If you try to just walk out, she'll just say, hey, you forgot your Legion arm, and teleport you back over to her.
Yeah. But on the speedrun, we don't use the arm at all. There are some really cool upgrades you can do, but unfortunately they just take too long to access all of those. Anyway, this is the first running section, I guess you could say, after the tutorial. Elysian Boulevard, with our friend Gemini enlightening us about how it's a regular rich people row. There's no better place for fancy boutiques and shops.
Well,
But
that was before the puppet frenzy.
Yeah, that was long ago, before the puppet frenzy.
We love Gemini. Also, one note about the weapon. For the early game, we're actually using the balance weapon that we bought from the merchant back there. So we actually have all 3 of the starting weapons right now. We need the greatsword for the blade. We need the rapier for the handle that we're going to use. And then for the early game, the balance weapon is actually kind of the best mix of speed and damage that we can get. And then we also need the other parts of the greatsword and the rapier for a skip weapon that we're going to make that we'll see coming up. But
Yeah,
as I get to the
we're
donkey...
actually going to see it very soon.
Yes, we will. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to use it, so we'll see it a little later. But as we're getting to the donkey, we've got one little skip that I'm going to try to do here. Hopefully I don't mess it up. It's a pretty precise jump. I have to get a delayed jump right here. And line it up right. Got it. Excellent.
Nice. Yeah. So you could alternatively do that with the greatsword, as we were just talking about, and you'll see that definitely like a little bit later. You'll see why. But here we are heading into the donkey boss fight, the Mad Donkey. Very similar to, you know, the NPC fights you would see normally in a Souls game. I like to compare this guy to kind of something like Father Gascoigne. He's very quick, very fast, and in the speedrun you fight him with backstabs. So let's see how this goes. Good luck. Here we're using our throwing items here to proc the electricity on him, which will make him be more weak to stagger damage and be more weak to the buff that he put on his weapon. Him taking another backstab here. And the goal is to kind of R1 him down, and then as soon as the backstab cooldown, which is a part of this game, there's a little cooldown on backstabs. As soon as that runs out, you want to strafe behind him and go for one of those. But yeah, nicely done.
Pretty clean.
Donkey is down. That was pretty good. And here we get our first interaction with Geppetto. And he's still trying to hug us, but we're
trying to hug,
going back to the hotel. Yeah, we don't want to hug you.
Yeah, so the reason we had to kill Donkey there, he's not strictly required to beat the game, but we need him there so that we can now swap our weapons out. So that was the weapon swapping mechanic that we were talking about, so that we can assemble. So first of all, this is our skip weapon. And then the second weapon that we're assembling is our damage weapon. So it lets us assemble the best skip weapon and the best damage weapon. I'm going to show off the skip weapon right here with some zips and pogos. So as I try to concentrate and line things up, Blanks, go ahead and explain, if you can, the zips and pogos.
Yeah. Okay, so this is actually utilizing every aspect of the skips in this game, right? So we're going to first line up our camera using our UI. And we're going to swap to 30 FPS here. And we're going to do a heavy attack, and we're going to cancel that heavy with a guard. With a guard. And it'll make us basically, cancel the animation of going forward with the heavy. And that causes some, like, really weird physics bug, I guess, with the Unreal Engine. And it causes you to just fly forward, right? And on 30 FPS, you are able to maintain your height a lot better. So we're constantly swapping between 30 and 120, because on 120, in order for us to go vertically in the air, we use something called a pogo, right? And the idea of the pogo is to heavy attack on the cusp of a ledge. And it's kind of the same principle, where you're causing like a bug in the physics to send you flying in the air. However, instead of going horizontally with a zip, you're going vertically. And we're going to be using both of these here as Mitch lines up the skip again. This one is very annoying. This one personally caused me the most issues when it was discovered. This skips the trip to you actually skip the Watchman. You skip the Watchman after Donkey. You skip the trip back to the hotel. You skip the trip to the factory. You don't need the key for that either. You skip the cathedral, you skip Andreas, and you skip the Malum district and the Black Rabbit Brotherhood boss fight. So you are skipping in a casual playthrough around 4 to 5 hours of content on a speedrun.
Easily, maybe more. No!
This is called oh, that's the
Back up.
unlucky spot.
Oh, slightly missed it. Almost got the
Yeah,
back
this
up
is
there.
this is straight up just one of the hardest skips in the entire game, and you have to do it at the very start of the run. These skips are incredibly precise. Like, out of any run that I've done of, you know, like a glitch speedrun, I feel like Lies of P any percent is probably the most difficult to pull off consistently. You know, so what you're seeing here is just what happens on your average day of attempts, right? Like, you're never gonna get the flashy YouTube highlight on your first try. But yeah, Mitch here gonna roll onto the railing after zipping onto the bench. He's gonna line up his feet and his camera, and is going to do the pogo here, hopefully.
Go boing.
We'll do a heavy attack. There you go. Yep. Doing a heavy on the edge of a ledge kind of sends your character flying like that. And we are on our way to Rosa Isabel. We have successfully skipped, like, what's that, 4 bosses and a bunch of hotel trips.
Yeah, basically 4 full chapters have been skipped. Or I guess 3.5, because we kind of did half of chapter 2.
Yeah. So here we are in, as some would call it, Rosa Isabel Street, the entertainment district. You might even call it extravagant, you know. There's
operas, operettas, street concerts,
and
all
street
running
concerts.
24/7.
Yep. And there's this lady called Adelina Corday. She's wearing a red dress.
She was
She's
the most famous of them all. The legendary prima donna.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's all necessary for the speedrun.
Yes, yes.
We really need the lore. Otherwise, it just doesn't feel the same. And here is actually a great time for... Oh.
A great time for me to die and do it again.
Yeah. Here we are going to do... Here we're going to do more skips. We're going to skip more content because that's what you do in a speed run, right? You just cheat your way to victory by skipping all the content. We are going to go back out of bounds here. Actually, I think this is our first time going out of bounds. We're going to skip around 20 to 30 more minutes of content, I believe, in a glitchless run. So you can really tell like how much this adds up, all the skips and development here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the zip tech again, and we're actually going to just be sent out of bounds here, and we're going to go to this ledge and see if we can do another zip here. Cancel the heavy with a guard, and perfect. And we are skipping, I think, 3 more chapters here with this. And this would be a great time for, you know, donations. We're just gonna be running out of bounds for a little bit here.
Absolutely. We do have a few donations in, so let's get to them. We have $50 from Strange German Guy saying enter comment here, and I will. The comment will be Franker Z. Of course, it's a Souls marathon. Of course, it's going to be Franker Z. We also have $100 from Calypso Jet saying good luck, everyone. And we have $10 from a regular guy saying, let's save the children for that world record live. Every little bit counts, so I believe we can see it here live. Franker Z, and again, Franker Z. And how long have we got before the incentive closes?
It's probably around 30 minutes from this point.
So we have 30 minutes. So we have 30 minutes. 30 minutes to get this incentive closed off to get the world record on SCM. For maybe the first time we might have had a world record in 7 years history, but I'm not sure. My memory is failing me. I would need to maybe ask somebody else like Dan Flesh. I'm sure he would know everything. But thank you so much for your donation, guys. It's awesome.
How much are we at for that incentive right now? How much is left?
I will tell you. So we're still a little bit away. There's still $160 to go. Because remember, guys, when you do your donations, make sure to pick an incentive so we make sure our incentives get met. And the reason I like our incentives getting met is it makes it more difficult for the runners. And that's what gets me up in the morning. And that's what makes me enjoy SCM, is making things harder for the runners. Sorry, guys, but that's just the way I am. I'm kind of like Cookie in that way, because he makes things more difficult as well, right?
Very true.
Yeah. Speaking of Cookie, we actually have a skip coming up. Not found by Cookie, found by Yojo, the other prominent skip hunter in this game. We're going to use another one of the pogos to skip past Champion Victor. The boss, I would say, is around like the midway point through the game. And here we're going to try to jump onto this railing. And
Try
once
for a
we
third
get on the
time.
railing, we are going to do another one of those UI setups with our camera.
These setups are super, super precise, so you have to kind of wiggle yourself into
Just
the right spot.
Yeah, we're just trying to get in position where when we do our heavy attack, we're gonna go flying off of the edge of the railing there, and that's kind of what causes the vertical boost. And these skips are done on 120 FPS, so meaning you know, you're not gonna get this height playing on 60 or playing on 75 or whatever. That's why 120 is so important. I will say
You could go
the
even
zips-
higher if we could get higher FPS, but it's not allowed to have a fair playing field for everyone. You don't need to buy, you know, a $10,000 computer to compete. Although you might need to buy like a $2,000, $3,000 computer if you want world record.
Yeah. So here we are skipping the cat and the fox here, which will have consequences later, but we have backups for those. Those have been accounted for. Normally, you would give the fox there a coin, but we don't have any because we never fought the rabbits and we never got to the golden tree. So that will have consequences later, but we will show you how we bypass that. And here we are entering the barren swamp. We're going to be, you guessed it, skipping more content because that's what speedrunners do. They skip content. Here we are lining up our feet and camera again. Like I said before, skips in this game are just incredibly precise, like way more than you would think. And here we are rolling onto this this ledge right here, running out of bounds, and we are going to enter another one of those long 2 to 3 minute running sections for our next skip. So if there are any donations, this is definitely a good time to do so. If not, it's okay. We can just explain more about the run.
I just wanted to just very, very quickly say that, sorry, you have guys things to explain. That I really appreciate, like, everyone has come to SCM this year, considering the changes that have happened in the community, and the support we've had so far is just so incredible to see. And I just wanted to thank everyone for either running here, like you guys, and commentating here, and everyone who's donated so far, and all the chatters as well. I love you. You're awesome.
Yeah, it honestly has been going very smoothly. I'm really, really impressed by, you know, the work that's been done by everyone behind the scenes and everything. I was reached out to, and we did our setups like before, and I thought that was like really awesome that like there's just so many people that are so passionate about the community, and they just love seeing these
100%.
marathons being done.
100% agree with you. Anyway, back to you guys.
Yeah. So yeah, as we are running out of bounds here, basically you can kind of see the theme of this game is mostly use a zip or pogo to get out of bounds, run out of bounds till we get to the next boss or, you know, area or trigger of the game that it needs, and then use zips and pogos to skip that boss or activate that trigger or whatever's needed to progress the game. Speaking of, we're coming up on another pogo here that's out of bounds. It's on an out of bounds piece of geometry, so if I fall off, we die and we have to redo this entire skip. So I'm gonna try to set it up very, very carefully.
Yeah, actually, if you're familiar with SoulsSpeedruns, if you quit out of bounds, you'll be put, you know, back where your last stable position was, which even could be out of bounds in some Souls games. But in this game, if you quit out of bounds, you get put back to the last spot you were in bounds, right? So that means if he were to fall up the ledge here and have to quit out, he would be put back on that very first staircase. And he hits it first try. Hopefully he can get the run jump here. Wow, dude, that skip, honestly, it's one of the sleeper skips for me. That one is pretty precise. Anyway.
I think I've got a pretty good setup for it, but it definitely, some days it just does not go well.
we are approaching the most complex and convoluted skip, so I will try my best to explain it. So here we are actually triggering an elevator, which is, you know, some kind of flag for the game to tell you that you are locked into the zone. Going to grab the Stargazer, and we are going to skip past this part because you can't leave. We couldn't teleport to the hotel or whatever. We can't leave. So we're going to try to bypass that by using skips. Here we're going to get onto this railing. And this is the in of this game. This is probably talked about. We're going to set up our feet very, very precisely here.
Very precise lineup. I might take a few
In this game,
wiggles.
yeah, this is the most like precise and just the skip that requires the most execution out of the player. So we will see if Mitch can pull it off in the first couple of attempts. If not, that is just how carriage goes sometimes. We're gonna see him wiggle into place here, using his feet and his camera as set up here.
Think I'm good, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Got it. First try. Let's go.
Very nice. Wow. Yeah. And we are the shot is lined up and it is a birdie. It's a hole in two. That is what we call, yeah, that is what we call carriage or hole in one, or I like to call it golf with your friends skip, because you just start flying like a golf ball. And we're triggering a second flag here, which is the boss fight at the top of the ladder. We're just loading it in really quickly, and that'll also make the elevator think that we're now, instead of being stuck in that section where we were in, we are now unstuck, technically. And we're going to go back to the elevator and get restuck, but instead of getting stuck, we're going to go back to the hotel, so we unstuck ourselves again. It's a very, very... Yeah. We're going to trigger this elevator, and basically, like, triggering the elevator is the flag of the next major story event, which is the hotel getting attacked. And as you can see, everything is perfectly normal. You know, no issues here. But as you'll see in a second, we're going to warp back to Rosa Isabel Street. And
and in the 10 seconds it takes to walk back, somehow the hotel gets attacked and ransacked, even though we're gone for like 20 seconds at most.
Yep. For some reason, they just knew. Maybe they're using zips and pokos too.
Ah, that's how they got in and out so fast.
Yep. So this is actually a skip that was discovered by a chatter in Distortion's stream, like the first version of it. What you would do is you would kill the boss up top, and you would trigger the elevator, and as you press the button, you would quit out, and that would send the elevator down, which would trigger you being quote-unquote stuck, but you would spawn at the top of the elevator, and you could just run back to the nearest Stargazer and go back to the hotel, and it would do the same thing. But this is obviously faster with the routing that we currently have. As you can see, hotel is attacked. There's an axe on the door, even though the office was never open in the first place because we never killed the watchman.
Well,
So
that explains how they're all
just...
safe in here. That explains how they couldn't get in. We never opened it.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we're going to talk to the butler robot in the hotel for our upgrade materials. We're gonna buy some hidden moonstones and some fable catalysts for the actual combat and the run coming up in a little bit. We're gonna talk to Antonia, and she's gonna give us the piano, the music sheet for the piano, and we're gonna play a special chord, and that is going to unlock the Relic of Trismegistus, the next major area with the most annoying boss in the game probably. But as you'll see, we are not going to fight that boss. So very, very fortunate for us. We don't have to go and fight that boss on base health and damage.
For those of you keeping track at home, we have killed 2 bosses, and then we have skipped all the way to now chapter 10 out of 11 of the game after killing just 2 bosses.
Yeah, this is around, I want to say, what, like an hour and 20 minutes in a glitchless run or so.
I think about,
And
yeah.
we are here in, like just under 30 minutes, which is really insane. So here we're going to set up another skip, which skips the Black River Brotherhood, the second encounter of them. Here we're going to pogo up out of bounds
And miss it and get stuck. That's okay.
and we got stuck out of bounds. That's okay. You can just quit out and it'll put you back on your last spot, your last stable ground in bounds, which is actually kind of nice. Like in some spots it's nice, but in some spots it really is not good to have happen. But here you lose maybe like 10 seconds. So it's not a big deal.
Well, I'm a little slow at the skip, so maybe more like 15 to 20.
Yeah. Getting reset up again is always the worst part of missing one of these skips.
There we go.
There we go. Very nice. And so you skip all the way from the elevator to the lever at the end of the level. I think the skip is really cool because it's one of the only like true vertical levels in the run, and the verticality gets abused very, very heavily. And here we are approaching the Alchemist Isle sub 30, which is, if you were to say that around a month and a half ago when the game was still new, everyone would give you weird looks, call you crazy, say the game is too linear, we'll never have the skips, we'll never have the tech, and here we are. We are sub 30 at the Alchemist Isle, which is the final area of the game, but also, as you can see by the estimate, it's half the run. So here we are talking to Sophia, telling us basically that the version of her in the hotel
Supposedly there's lore. I don't know any lore in this game. Something happened.
and here we are just learning about our backstory, who is P, and who are his his friends along the way, and I'm sure you guys are following along perfectly. I'm sure all the lore has been translating perfectly with all the skips and tech. This is all canon, by the way. This all actually happened in the story.
This is the intended way to play the game, actually.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about this.
Right.
So
the reason that we are grabbing all of these lore tidbits is just because they give us a bunch of ergo, which once again, we're very poor, so we need this ergo in order to level ourselves up to be at an acceptable level to actually take on the final bosses of the game. Otherwise, they would take, I don't know, like an extra 2 to 3 minutes per boss just from how weak we would be. We also grab the Crescent Moonstones, which are our upgrade materials that are going to let us upgrade our weapon. Be at that power level where we can get through this.
Right. So here, instead of running straight through the Alchemist Isle, we're going to take the Stargazer and we're going to head back to the hotel because the door that would be closed because we didn't kill the rabbits the first time is going to be open, because the hotels are different maps, and this hotel map happens to have the door open because the game assumes that if you're this far in, the door is probably open on a casual playthrough, which is actually really convenient because we are going to upgrade our weapon, give it a technique crank, and then we're going to visit that merchant that I talked about earlier that sells us the powerful consumables and throwables, which come in very, very handy on a run like this where you basically skip the entire game and you get here with your base levels, and it's just very, very convenient that we can just head over to the merchant, buy a bunch of abrasives, which are the pine resin equivalents, and throwables. We're going to take a stop here at the Golden Tree, not because we have to respec our character, but because we're going to sell it for money. And we are going to head down the elevator and go through the Malum district, which was an area that we did skip, but we're going back because if it's not faster, it's like about the same time investment. as just running through Alchemist Isle without buying these consumables, but nobody's been crazy enough to attempt a route that doesn't come here.
Yeah, it takes about 2-ish minutes, I believe, to come by the consumables here, but you save back all that time in fights because the consumables are just very, very powerful, and the fights would be so slow without them.
Yeah. So here we are quitting out, technically in the boss arena, because what that's going to do is send us to the entrance. As you know, if you're familiar with Souls games, if you quit out in a boss fight, it'll just put you outside because it can't put your stable position inside of the fight. And here we are in the Malm district. Yeah, we totally got here in a legit manner. There was no sequence breaking involved, and this is the intended way. So
That's a scary attack there.
I think we have enough time for a donation or two.
Sure, but I don't believe you when you say this is intended. I know what all
It
these
definitely
speedrunners
is.
are like.
It definitely
Is it? Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it.
I believe you now. You've reassured me. That's fine. Thank you. We do have a $10 donation from Carsey Hassey saying, "Let's go, Mitch, and save the children." Thank you so much for the $10. And of course, remember, when you do get your donations in, make sure you pick an incentive. And we're still quite a bit off of the Liza P incentive, but we might get a snipe quite late, like we did last run for the Demon Souls, because I'd really like to see a world record. Wouldn't you guys?
I'd like to get a world record. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Need one of those after my
you don't
world
have the world
record's been
record already?
taken in this one. Oh,
Please get
Blanks
Mitch a
took
free
it,
world
then
record.
Spicy took it, then Blanks took it, then Spicy took it. Then I got it one time back, and then Blanks and Spicy are now just way too good, and I can't catch up. But
Wait. Blank stole your world record and you're letting him commentate. Do you want me to just remove him? Like, would that be
actually,
easier?
you know what? That would be great. Yeah, let's get him out of here.
I wouldn't do that. He's too good looking.
All right, we're back now. We're back at the Alchemist Isle. So we have now stocked up on our consumables, and we are going to fight the Door Guardian. As you guys saw in the previous run, he was wearing a suit of armor and had a shield. But this time there's no archers. We are fighting the Tower Knight equivalent, Iron Golem equivalent, whatever you want to call it. This is the gimmick fight of the run, and the idea here is that he is really weak in his feet, and the rapier is proficient at getting quick stabs off over and over again, and we're going to be stabbing his feet quite a bit. It's about 1200 damage, I believe.
Oh, that's unlucky.
I guess that can happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's only the second time that's ever happened that guy follows that far up the stairs, but there is a chance.
That is a consequence of arriving at the Alchemist Isle at literally base level. It's that everything in the game one-shots you. So
yeah. We do have some starting armor, but we actually unequip the starting armor because it gets us into the light load, which gets us better stamina recovery. So yeah, everything in this area will always one-shot us.
Yeah, it's actually quite scary because even this dog right here, if it just pokes you once, you're 10% health. So you really learn how to manipulate the AI of the enemies, and this area in particular is just especially brutal. But anyway, here we are approaching the Door Guardian, the Tower Knight without armor. It's going to be around 1200 damage on the first leg here. As you can see, the other one is armored. So this is actually one of the better weapons that you could use for a fight like this, because you can just stab over and over again at the weak point and build up that damage quite quickly. And as you can see, we're not doing that much damage, but when you knock him over like this and give him a few pokes, put a fire on our weapon, and we are going to take the fatal attack. And oh, there goes half his HP, and he's on fire. Very cool. Yeah. So that's the gimmick with this fight, is he takes very, very little damage in his foot, but that's how you knock him over. And once he's knocked over, you just hit him in the head, and he dies in. I would say in a casual playthrough, I feel like most builds can just 2-cycle him because we can 2-cycle him in the speedrun. So here we're gonna pop another fire abrasive here, farm some Fable for our 3rd bar, and then take another Fatal, and he's dead.
That
Very
was
nice.
not a bad fight at all. That was pretty good.
Yep. So here we're coming up on a very, very fast-paced Arch Abbey here. We are going to grab the Stargazer here for safety, but this is gonna go pretty quick. There's gonna be lots of pogos done in quick succession. Here's the first one on this little staircase here. We actually skip using the Alchemist badge in its entirety, the one that just dropped from Door Guardian there. We don't use it. There's a you know, an elite right there to our right, and then you'd use the badge right there. But why do that when you could literally just not do that and skip everything?
Just zip up to the top. Just pogo up.
Yeah, I mean that's, you know, it's clearly intended. The key item is, you know, who needs key items? You have a greatsword rapier.
Okay. Did not want to die again to these guys. oh my
guys-
gosh.
These guys have your number today. What the heck?
They want me. All right, but we get another Stargazer here for safety, so we will not get sent all the way back.
Yeah, if optimally in an 8% run, if you were to die at any point in Alchemist Isle, you get sent all the way back to the beach, like right before Door Guardian. So grabbing these Stargazers is obviously a good idea. And here we're approaching another skip, which is called Cat Skip. Like I mentioned before, we don't give a coin to the fox early in the game. And what that does, it makes the cat angry at us, because I think the gold coins help cure his blindness, and he hits a first try. Very nice. That was part 1. And we'll see if we can hit part 2 here. That was actually very clean. That skip is probably one of the harder ones for me. So seeing that first try is really cool. And again, we're going to line up our foot so it's just barely hanging off the ledge, and then we line up our camera. We line up our camera again.
Excellent.
Wow. That's honestly incredible. Like, both skips first try is incredible. That's awesome. Okay, so here we are riding the elevator up to the I think we call this the rift skip. I don't know what you call this, like elevator rift skip.
Impossible skip?
Yeah, or you could call it impossible skip because it is a giant cookie jar skip, and
Yep.
all skips by a giant cookie jar are impossible. Yeah, here we are just grabbing another Stargazer. This is probably, I would probably say, is the most precise setup skip in the entire game.
I think
in terms
for sure.
of, yeah. So Mitch will probably take his time here setting it up. The idea here is to roll onto this platform.
We wait for the elevator to come on up so that it can push us up onto this beam on the left, and then I'm just going to set up a very, very precise zip here.
Yep.
The higher our FPS, the more easily we can set it up, because it allows us to input our inputs in smaller intervals. So I go 120 to set it up, but we'll go back to 30 to keep our height when I actually do the skip.
Yeah. So Mitch is just here feathering his keyboard very lightly to do the, you know, micro inputs here.
Oh. Could be it. See if I got it.
We'll see.
First try. Let's go.
Very nice. Yeah, that skip is definitely one of the hardest skips in the run. And honestly, like, seeing all these skips first try, like, this is really impressive. Like, in a marathon run, this is something that you would see on, like, a PB attempt. You would see somebody hitting all these skips first try. But to see that in, like, a marathon attempt where it's, like, you know, it's one run, it's a one and done. So seeing that all first try is very, very impressive. So here we are heading up to the first boss after, I think, since Donkey. I guess we had Door Guardian, but we're heading towards the first of the endgame bosses here, and there is a very long elevator section. But we are ready to go. We have throwables, we have consumables. We're just going to, make sure that everything is ready for the fight. And we actually are going to fight her on base health, which is just quite scary. So I really, really hope that we can, show off the fight and maybe get it first try. Hopefully. I need you
She's
guys
the hardest
to pray
for
for
me
Mitch
by
here.
far in this run. She is so difficult specifically because the speedrun strategy is to use guard parries, which if you've ever played a Souls game and you've tried to do like parry only, that's basically how we're playing her. And you know how in Souls games there's like light shields that have a wide window and medium shields that have a smaller window? We're basically like a medium shield parry. It is a pretty small window, and if I mess up even once, we're gonna die because we are on such low health. So hopefully I can get it, and I'll let Blanks just talk through the fight.
Yeah. So this fight is probably the fight that you want to put the most hours into if you're gonna run this game. I would say that every run, has to pass the Laxasia check, so to speak. And you're just gonna see the hours of practice here that Mitch has put in, and we're just gonna see how this boss has been refined over the month and a half or so of the game being out. He's probably gonna make it look very easy, to be honest, but she is definitely like one of the hardest bosses in the run. Mitch here gonna put acid on his weapon and going to be giving her the quick pokes of the rapier moveset, and you can see the strength of it here. And just look at that guard parry damage. That is just the ideal Laxasia fight that we're getting right here. Although that lightning drag was a little bit
I'm just gonna run
scary
away from this. I am not dealing with that attack.
So the idea here is to use 2 of the acid abrasives on the first phase, because the acid is actually like most of your damage here. As you can see, the rapier is not doing much damage here. That is why we take a trip to the merchant, right? It's because it's just so hard to do these fights without these consumables on base level. Getting the stagger here. We're gonna buff our weapon again, and we're going to do another charge or 2 into the fatal attack. And I mean, this fight's honestly, it's going as well as you could expect from a Laxasia fight. And so we are going to hope that phase 1 ends as soon as possible.
Good.
Looks like she's down. Nice. Phase 2 is going to be a double carcass fluid toss into a Fable Catalyst. And then we're going to see more carcass fluid being thrown into an acid buff. And we're going to deflect these lightning parries. And no, Mitch is not using the perfection grindstone. This is just him having parrying skills. We're going to use our Fable art here on Laxasia. Going to be chunking her down very, very low. Throwing a shot put to trigger the stun. Waiting out her combo. Throwing a couple of thermites. Going back in for the fatal. And hopefully we can end this fight off quickly after she wakes up again. Laxasia goes up in the air. And she's down. Wow. That is a first try Laxasia. And honestly, that is something that I was expecting to go wrong on this run, to be honest.
I was expecting it to go very wrong too. I am so happy about getting that. Like, I did not want to pop off while you were still explaining the end, but oh boy, I am so, I'm so happy I got that first try. She is so hard.
Great.
I think that was even hitless as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was very, very well done. You can just see the hours of practice here. You can just see, the refinement that went into this run. Now we are going to do part 2 of the Arch Abbey here. We are going to run past all the enemies, and we're coming up on a few quick skips here. It's going to be a pogo on the stairs, and then a very, very precise skip. So we have about like 1 more minute for the incentive, and then we'll have to close it because we're coming up on the final boss pretty quickly. So if we have any more donations, I think now would be the best time.
Sure, we're still a little bit short of the incentive, but we do have 3 donations. We have a $10 donation from Ono saying for the children, also for the souls. We have a $10 donation from Matty. It's amazing to see these skips straight out of the oven. Absolutely, this run has been incredible. Do we have time for one more donation?
Yes, I would say we have time for one more.
Cool. I think this requires a little bit of theatrics, just the way it's written, but I will try my best. Rosa Isabel Street, the entertainment district, you might call it. Extravagant operas, operettas, street performance. Whoa, no, I'm at 120 FPS. Whoa. And that's from King Allant, and it's $25. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to reach the incentive, guys, but don't worry about it. This run's been utterly insane, but do let me know when to close it, and I will.
Yeah, so here we are fighting one of the last enemies in the game, and then we're going to set up... I keep saying the most precise skip. This is probably the most precise of these pogo skips. So we'll see if Mitch can hit it first try. That would honestly be very, very impressive. If Mitch could hit this first try, I think he deserves the world record anyway, even if we don't reach the incentive.
No, I'm not sure if this one's precise or it just feels like it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And this time it did not work. I think I was falling there, so I'm going to just quit out and try it again.
Yeah. So again, like the skip for the cat, this is a skip for the fox. Conveniently, we have skips for both to avoid the forced boss fights that you would have with them. By not giving them a gold coin. So very, very convenient stuff to just have, ways to skip past them. Or else what the run would look like would be, instead of just the Laxasia check, there would also be the Red Fox check right after, which would definitely not be ideal. So all the skips kind of came together, and there we go. Yeah. I will say now is probably the time to close the incentive, because we are coming up on the final boss. But here we are, going to be popping the last of our ergo. Talking to our father, telling him how much of a good father he is, or not. And yeah, we are coming up on the final boss in about a minute and a half or so. So any last donations, any last comments, now is definitely the time.
Yep, sorry, I could not find my mute button there for a second. I don't know what was going on. Yeah, no, I will just say that we're going to close the incentive now, yes? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, cool. Okay, so the incentive unfortunately is closed, and it will not be a world record on stream.
Oh.
But still one of the best runs I've seen at SCM, so you at least have that.
This is a very, very good run.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised.
I should have
well
gone
this is going.
slower so we could have met the incentive. Could have had a
You
world
said you
record by
died a
going
lot.
slower.
You said
I
you
died
a
in
lot
practice. Yeah, but
I know, and I think you're lying to me.
well, that is the theme of the game.
True, exactly. Oh, dang, role-playing as well? Sick.
So Mitch here going to set up the one of the last skips in the run. It's going to be another zip skip. We're going to line up our camera at a certain angle. And we're going to basically cancel our heavy input with the guard, and that should send us flying up the ledge. And there we go. And here is the last skip right here. Just one last pogo. This one is really cool. I love the way that it works, because actually what it does is it sends you like into the boss arena technically, because you're like underneath it. And when you quit out, it'll just put you back like, outside the boss arena. So it saves around, I want to say like 25 to 30 seconds. I don't know how much this one saves exactly, but this one is very cool. I just love the way that it works. Here we are in front of the final boss's arena. We're going to trigger the cutscene, and then we are going to quit out. And the reason for this is because summoning for this fight is actually a lot faster. Well, not a lot faster, but it's way more comfortable, and it is faster than just going in solo, ironically. But yeah, we're gonna see the power again of acid abrasives and throwables, because we're a little bit stronger. I think we're at like 35 technique right now and 15 health, which is pretty reasonable numbers, I would say. but our weapon's only +5. Like, we could be +10 and have way more damage, but we are only +5. So we will be relying on our consumables yet again for our damage.
We'll also see just how strong the summons are in this game. They are very, very strong. In something like a glitchless run, you'd see it more often, but it can make the run a lot more comfy with a summon doing a lot of the damage. And he's just super beefy. Way more beefy than most of the Soul summons.
Yeah, and this one in particular does a lot of damage. A really cool mechanic about the summons in this game is that they actually hold the boss weapon that the boss that you're fighting would be carrying. And this one in particular actually does like a lot of damage. So you'll see like the summon just chunks Manus here. Not to be confused with Manus from Dark Souls 1, obviously. But
You
yeah,
know why
this
they're
fight
both
is actually...
called Manus, right?
No,
Because
I
it
don't know
means
why. Enlighten me.
hand in Latin.
Oh, that's
Or
actually...
hand or
I didn't know
fist or something like that. It's something to do with hand.
That's cool. I didn't know that. But yeah, this fight is actually like... He's not getting very good RNG, but Mitch is playing it very well. Okay, I almost cursed this run. I am live cursing the run so that it goes slower.
Yep.
And we can reach the estimate because Mitch is going too fast for us. All right, so here we are entering phase 2. He looks a lot different. He looks a lot more green. But even still, he's still weak to acid. So we are going to again use our Fable art here. This fight is not as hard, I would say, as Luxasia per se, but it is a fight that is very, very easy to go wrong. It's just one of those fights that like can get out of control quickly. But Mitch here is doing a really good job of keeping it all under control. He's gonna pop Fable as Manus stalls here. Our summon unfortunately goes down, taking one for the team. On is going up for the red attack. Not gonna land it. Rocking the fire, which does % health damage, which is very important. Gonna be tossing a little bit more of the carcass fluid. Hopefully gonna be ending the fight pretty quickly here. Using the Fable attack. And now
Shot
just
put
gonna try
should end this.
finish it up with the shot put, yep. And we get the stun, very beautiful. And ending with the fatal. There we go.
Not time yet, not till we get to the credits. So just a little bit more dialogue to go, and then we will finish the run.
That was a very clean run. I am actually like really impressed. The only death that I noticed was the one in Rosa Isabel, right? That was the only...
Yeah, I think so. And then a couple of skips were, not quite first try, so we lost some time. And one more death right here, right at the end, to skip this elevator.
No, not a true deathless run. No,
not deathless. No.
Yeah. So that, as you guys saw there, this is just what the result is of the hours of practice that Mitch put in. This was a very, very impressive run for a marathon. You'd be very, very happy getting this. Even on your average day of PB attempts, this would not be a very bad run at all. But yeah,
All
here
right.
we're
Time
going
is coming
to...
up in just a second. As soon as I skip this cutscene. And... time. There it is.
Time.
I had to wait for the music.
Very well done. Yeah, that was one of the best runs that I've seen of this game, like for a marathon. That was very, very clean and definitely a huge shout out to the Lies of P community, Yojo and Cookie and Distortion and everyone that worked on this game. It would not look like this had we stopped working on it a long time ago. So huge shout out to everybody that worked on this game. Very, very fun speedrun. It goes by so quickly. I'm sad that it's over, but that was...
But before we leave, since we are well under our estimate, I do have one more thing I do want to show off. A little quick, you might have noticed we didn't do a certain boss at the end. We didn't do an optional ending boss, and I do want to show that one off. just to show how much more powerful we could have been if we actually were using like end game stats and end game weapons and all that. So I want to show that off real quick here before we get going here. But yeah, huge shout outs to the entire community. Huge shout outs to Blanks and Spicy for really pushing this category down. You know, I was competitive in the early days, but nowadays it is the Blanks and Spicy show, and they are just so amazing at this run.
Yeah, so here we are using a different weapon, as you can see. This is the what you would do in a glitchless run. We're going to refuse Geppetto's offer. We're not going to become a real boy. And instead, we're going to fight his puppet. And this is just a testament to how powerful you can get.
That's how powerful you can get. Take out over half his health in a single swing. Get right into the second phase.
You're just a puppet. Nothing more.
Yeah, second phase. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful RNG there. The slam is there. Slam, shot put, beautiful.
Almost. There we go.
Stagger.
My equips are a little wrong, but we still got him right here. See ya! And there is the optional super hard final boss, the Melania of the game, if you will.
Woohoo!
Can be
Gone in
destroyed
under a minute.
pretty quickly, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, spoilers. Us gotta skip this. No spoilers. Play the game for yourself to see that true ending. It's a very, very, very cool ending and a very cool game. And happy I got to show it off here at the Souls Charity Marathon.
Yeah.
Absolutely delighted
So-
to have you. That run was awesome, dude.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested at all in Lies of P speedruns after watching this run, I would highly, highly recommend heading over to the speedrun.com website. There's a link to our Discord. You can learn the run there. There's plenty of resources and people that are willing to help you. We need more runners, so please, if you like this run, please run this game. It's so much fun.
Yeah, you
Be
could
awesome to
run
have you.
any % no summons. You could get the free world record that we unfortunately did not get the incentive for here, but you could get that. And there are
But it's
several
up for
other
grabs
ones.
still.
Yeah, several other ones that you could get the free world record. Just be the first one to do a category. It feels great to get a world record, and it's a very fun speedrun to do. So yeah, would highly encourage anyone who loves these Souls type games and speedruns to give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for having us. Thank you for having me
Oh,
back to
of
back.
course. Of course,
fun.
of course,
Fun
absolutely.
having a nice double header.
And you're always welcome back in the future, unless you keep stealing people's world records, and then we'll need to have words.
Oh yeah. maybe next time Mitch won't invite me for commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make sure of it. Don't worry. Like, that's not going to happen. No, but thank you for that run. That was really, really awesome. And yeah, I don't know if you guys were aware, we've actually reached $2,583.
Let's
So far.
go.
Which
That's
is
huge.
pretty sick. Yeah, it's really awesome. And there's still quite a while of the event to go. But yeah, no, thank you guys so much. We're going to go to a quick intermission, and then we're going to come back with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So make sure to stick around for that. I'm sure that'll be very, very fun as well. I actually can't wait. See you soon. Well, hi there, my lovely people in chat. How are we doing? Are we doing well? Hopefully you're enjoying SCM so far. That Lies of P run was pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's wonderful to see you all. Just got a couple of things I kind of just want to fill you in on, just in case you were not aware. You know, we do have a really sick merch store, which you can buy lots of things. There's some hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, caps, stickers. There's a really sick art print. And, you know, we had a couple of artists help us with this. So we had Snowy, who provided the awesome kind of Andre Reforged art, which is incredible. And you can check them out on Twitter as well. Let me just put that in chat. So that does work. Cool. And the other art was provided to us by our wonderful friend, John Devlin. And John has been sort of involved in giving us stuff for the past few years. I don't even know how long it's been now. And if you haven't seen John Devlin's art, you kind of might want to check it out because he's, to put it very lightly, he's kind of okay as an artist. And by kind of okay, I mean he's an utterly insane artist. And he draws a lot of Souls art, and it's incredible. And you can check out his own store on coffee.com that is just linked in chat there. It is so awesome, the actual amount of his art. Kind of okay, is it an understatement? 100% an understatement. The dude is so unbelievably talented. And it blows my mind. Whenever I see anything new of his, I'm just like, geez, that's like, it's so incredible. He's amazing. And he provides this art to us to use for the charity marathon, just without even a second thought. He's always like, yeah, no, dudes, I'll help you out. That's fine. And it's just really, really cool of him. And, you know, for our merch, about 20 to 30%, depending on what you buy, goes directly towards Save the Children, because there's obviously things like, you know, manufacturing costs and that have to happen. And, you know, we've been fundraising for Save the Children for, you know, 7 years, and it's not going to stop. We're going to keep going, you know, because children are some of the most vulnerable people in society who do not have a voice for themselves, and Save the Children helps give them their voice and speaks for them, you know, when they can't. And all the donations we get over the years go towards that global fight to end the suffering of children everywhere through global education, health, and protection programs. And it's really awesome the amount we've raised. I mean, I'm pretty sure now, what are we sitting at? Like, you know, $2,583. Over the course of SCM's lifetime, we have raised in total over $130,000. Which is utterly mind-blowing. And, you know, I know for myself and the organizers of the event that seeing this kind of support from all of us is, from all of you, towards the event we put on is so insane. And I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it for the entire event. I'm so appreciative of everything you guys do for us and the support you give us. It's awesome to see. It just really is. But yeah, so we're just getting ready for the next run, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which will be super fun, and I cannot wait to see it. And we will be back with you shortly once we have the tech all sorted out. So I will see you soon. Love you. See you soon. Blah, blah, blah.